Mhm. All right, welcome everybody. You guys are coming in hot. It's awesome.
Are we live? This thing on?
It's on, Carlos. Let's get going. Welcome everybody. I want to welcome you here to tonight's AMA with my special guest, Carlos Rodriguez of Tufts University. My name is Maggie Maurer. I'm with Aspen Dental, and I am an academic industry and relations manager for District 1. I usually I'm hosting in-person events, and I have met a few of you recently, so I'm excited to see you here tonight. We have a big event coming up next Saturday. March 13th is our Vibe session, backed by popular demand. So if you're interested in learning more about Aspen Dental after tonight, definitely register for Vibe. I'll pass along a link to you tomorrow in case you haven't registered. So welcome, Carlos. It's so great to see you. I got to meet you in the flesh last weekend. Right. Got to break some bread together, so that was amazing. So I really appreciate you joining me tonight and telling your story about, your road to choosing Aspen Dental. Those of you that are here, we're using the chat box for Q&A. So if you have questions for Carlos, you're going to want to plop them down there and I will monitor everything. At the end of the Ask Me Anything, Carlos is going to pick a number between 1 and how many people we have participating. And he is going to raffle off a $100 Amazon gift card at the end of the night. So welcome everybody. And Carlos, I would love for you to tell everybody, there's some of you here that don't know Carlos. So Carlos, tell me a little bit about your background story, where you're from and how you wound up at Tufts.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm excited to do this. Aspen did take me out to dinner the other day, so it's the least I can do to pay them back. So I'm a fourth year here at Tufts Dental, the Tufts Dental. Just come from Florida. We just started did my undergrad in Miami, and then found my way here to Boston with my wife, and we can't wait to get the hell out of here and go back to Florida. So we're the little background story. I was born in Cuba, raised practically all my life in South Florida, and finishing up dental school and going to work for Aspen next year. That's the gist of it.
So tell me a little bit about why Aspen? Had you considered other DSOs or private practice before you came to Aspen?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're a fourth year, you're gonna start getting offers from all over the place. Even even the faculty in clinic will start prying in to see if they can recruit you to work in practice. But what really attracted me to Aspen was just the level of support that you get, and it's hard to encapsulate everything together, but they offer the CE courses, the Q&As, the people that come and travel here to talk to you in person and tell you what the company's about. And also I feel like the choices, there's over 800 clinics, right? So you have 800 different locations to choose from with different owner docs and different things that are you can't find anywhere else. So there are other DSOs out there, but it's not to the scope that Aspen is. So that's what kind of attracted me to Aspen in the first place. Was number one, just the sheer level of options, and two, the support that I felt when they were kind of going through the recruiting process.
Good. So when did your recruiting process start? Did you attend events, as a D1, D2?
Yeah. So we would attend when I was I think I started when I was a third year, early last year. But I would only I'd show up for the free lunches and free dinners, like half the people there. But then towards the beginning of my fourth year, that's when things start getting serious. So you start attending these meetings with the hopes of getting more information on what they're offering, what differentiates Aspen from any other DSO. And then that's when I started getting my the gears turning towards Aspen.
Oh, good, good. So fast forward to your fourth year, and what did that look like for you? Obviously you and your wife wanted to be in Florida. So what did I know that you had registered for Vibe for our November Vibe, and because you signed with us, you're going to be receiving a $10,000 signing bonus. Which, for those of you that don't know, it kicks in after your first 90 days
Yeah.
that you're with us. So, what did that look like for you and your wife? Were you open to a lot of areas in Florida, or had you pretty much focused in on one specific area?
Yeah, so so a funny story about the Vibe event. So it was going on during my birthday, and so I wasn't able to make it to the Vibe event, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. That all my friends who signed with that, said it was fantastic. They can meet all the owner docs and interview, and so the reason we weren't picky as to where in Florida. We just wanted to be in Florida, and so our parents, both of our parents, live in the same area in the West Palm area. But you don't want to be too close to your parents. You want to be maybe in a couple hours away. You don't want
You
them
don't
over.
want to be dropping in all the
No,
time.
no, you want to have a nice little cushion there to make it just slightly inconvenient, to be in your house every weekend. So we were open to any place, and we're open. We like to explore. We like to try different areas, and I think we landed in a pretty awesome spot. So we're really happy we're gonna be in Panama City next year, Panama City Beach. So it's on the Panhandle. It's North Florida.
Mhm.
And it's so cool is we have access to Georgia, Alabama. We can go down to South Florida, and Tallahassee, the capital, is a couple miles away. So we're really excited for where we landed.
Nice. So what did you've got an incredible owner doctor that you're going to be working for. What was it about that owner doc, that made you follow him so far away from your family?
Yeah.
Because you still are kind of far from your family.
Yep. Yeah. And so I tell everyone who asks me, how did you go with choosing, how did you even start the whole process? So a funny story is since I missed the Vibe events, I got home from clinic, it's tired, and I just decided to go on my phone, go on Instagram, and here is obviously I follow Aspen Dental on Instagram. So here's Aspen posting a picture of this guy who's a recent grad. He's a 17 grad, opening his fourth office, right? Which just blew my mind. So then I had, and it said Florida, and so I said, what, I'm gonna reach out to him. I wasn't expecting anything in return. I was just wanted to see, hey, what's going on? Just kind of, can I pick your brain? How are you having this much success early on? And so I reached out to him, and to my surprise, he responded instantly. He said, I told him I'm a fourth year, interested in coming down and working right away, and he said, hey, let's talk in person. Let's meet. Let's get together. And that was my first. Whoa, this is real. It's happening. And
Mhm.
and so yeah, he the next day he called me the next day. He said, hey, let's have a little informal interview. And like I tell everyone, it's becomes a tender process at that point, because you have to make sure you're compatible with the owner doc. You have to make sure that you guys are in the same level when it comes to your views about treatment planning, your views on patient care, and just personality. You're gonna be working with this person, every day for some time. So you want to make sure your views are aligned. And what's cool about Aspen is that there's so many options, so that you can really narrow down and pick and choose. So I've had some friends who hit it off right away. I've had some others that say, this person just not, we're not the right match, and they just move on to. But
Mhm.
we instantly, we just connected. We matched. He's an awesome guy. He's and anytime you have someone with that kind of growth and motivation, and just wanting to go after it, that's the environment that I want to be in. So
Right.
we hit it off right away. He's a great guy, and also I asked him about mentorship. I asked him about what support you can give me, it's scary. You know, we're going out right after clinic. You know, and so you have to make sure those things are honed down before you can make a decision. But he, you know, we hit it off, and he seems like a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So, 2017 grad, here's Herman's question. 4 offices, that's awesome. Do you feel like Aspen helps out a lot in becoming an owner partner and going further in your career?
Yes. So yeah. So I mean, Maggie, the second that I met you, we were already talking about, how the process works, how things get going, how you can escalate in the company and move forward. So that's what it's all. I mean, there's a reason why there's 800 offices, right? So there's
Right.
if not more, but yeah, everything so far has been geared towards, how can you be as successful as possible, and just what do you want to do? Do you want to work as an associate? Do you want to be an owner? Do you want to be an MCD, which is my goal, be a director? So it's catered to you. What do you feel like doing? So they and they'll push you to go in that. So yeah, it's definitely geared towards motivating you to go out there and be an owner doc or be a great associate or an MCD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people shouldn't be intimidated. Not everybody wants to be an owner doc. People with leadership skills that want to build a team, it's usually the career path that they take. So let's talk a little bit about what you see as your, specialty, your strength when you get up and running. Aspen does have the opportunity for a lot of continuing education. We have an incredible implant program in place, Invisalign. What do you see yourself doing, Carlos? What's going to be your strength?
Yeah, so so I enjoy doing a little bit of everything in clinic now. That's why I chose not to specialize, because in crowns, veneers, restorative, anything, root canals, it doesn't matter. I just enjoy being in clinic and enjoy the just how crazy everything gets in there. But I do see myself learning how to place implants as soon as possible. I think that's it's something you should have in your arsenal, and it's an extremely important thing, just as important as dentures and crowns and anything else. So it's I would say my focus now after graduation is to pick up speed, get familiar with the process in the office, and just start learning how to place implants. And like you mentioned, Aspen is that's one of the other things. All the CE courses they offer. And even speaking to my owner doc, he says, "Yeah, we can. We'll help you out. We'll help you get to speed, and we'll make sure you're in the path for that." So that's what I'm excited about.
So, did your owner doc, talk about the mentorship that he plans on providing you with?
Absolutely, yeah. So I lucked out because he's a great opportunity for me. So he just opened an office in that Panama City area, and I think one of the associates is leaving soon, and I will be taking their spot. So it's going to be me and him working side by side. And so he said he's going to be with me for 6 months, up to 6 months around there until, or longer. But I have that mentorship there all, alongside the full entire time. So that's something that when comparing private offices, and any other office, that, these guys are swamped with figuring everything out. They don't have the resources and the support that Aspen gives these owner docs. And so they cannot have the energy to help you out and guide you to to become better. So that's what I feel he's I asked him, what's the game plan for mentorship, and he was straightforward. He said, yeah, don't worry, I'll be there with you the first 6 months, and if you need more time, we'll keep going, and we'll see where you're at. And so
right, and he is going to be right by your side, but you're going to be able to do your own treatment planning, but you're going to have that confidence that he's there, to troubleshoot with you and guide you, mentor you. So, you're going to be practicing dentistry,
exactly.
And I can hear the confidence in your voice. And I think a lot of that comes from knowing where you're going and what you're walking into.
Right.
You have that confidence. So what would you say to the students that are unsure about, going into residency or a DSO, what would your advice be to them to make that best decision for themselves?
Ask questions and get informed, and just pick everyone's brain and see what matches your criteria. See where, be honest with yourself, see where you're at, and just find that perfect match for you. If it's specializing, go. If you love doing endo for 12 hours a day, that's fine. But if you are doing general practice and you are seeking, where to go, and kind of just ask for information and get familiar with the process, and be careful with each and every single one of the offices and private practices and DSOs, because they all have their own criteria, their own contracts, their own things. So you have to, which is a great segue for why I love the Aspen model, which I'm sure we'll get into. But you really have to pick people's brains and ask them questions, and just go. You can't be shy. You have to find the best match for what you're looking for.
Yeah, and that's important. You can't be shy. No matter where you go, don't be shy.
Exactly.
And there's full transparency. You have yet to meet your owner face to face.
That's
correct?
Right. That's right.
But that's coming. So I just want to go over kind of a typical recruiting process for most. If you attend a Vibe and you're lucky enough to interview at Vibe, you have a Zoom interview that day. Other than that, the initial interview is a Zoom interview, so you're face to face. And it's always contingent upon an office visit. So a lot of people at the February Vibe I want to talk about, they have yet to get to their practice, but they're going to get there. So that initial interview is through Zoom, and followed by hopefully an offer in a location that you're excited about. And then you'll be visiting that office. Do you have plans yet, Carlos? Do you know when you're going down?
Yeah, the flights are booked, and Aspen took care of my accommodations, and working with Maeve now to get it all together. But we're planning on going there at the end of March, this month actually. So and I'm already in talks with Dr. Mack, and we're gonna meet up and hang out. And so that's the plans for now.
That's awesome. So you talked a little bit about the support Aspen gives. If you want me to take this one, I will. What in your mind? Do you want me to?
Take it away.
Take it away. So once Carlos starts to work for Aspen Dental, he and I are going to be working for two different companies. So I work for Aspen Dental Management Incorporated, as does Maeve. Maeve is joining us tonight. She's in the shadows. Maeve is a talent acquisition manager, and she covers areas of District 1. So she is very in tune to the openings in each area. And she has a whole team to work with that, help her find the right area for people if Maeve isn't familiar with that area of the country. So shout out to Maeve. Go Maeve. So we work for Aspen Dental Management Incorporated. So we are the support system that supports all the offices. We now have over 870 offices throughout the country. We're opening 89 this year. We opened just below that last year. So it's a fast moving train, a lot of opportunity, a lot of new offices opening. And Dr. Mack, Carlos's soon to be, practice owner, he is supported by Aspen Dental Management, the marketing, the billing, the call center, recruiting, HR, all the business aspects that support his practices are provided by Aspen Dental Management. So Dr. Mack he can practice dentistry, and he doesn't have all those business headaches. He's supported. If he runs into a problem, he's supported. So it really allows you to be a dentist and grow your career and not be working until midnight, stressing over paperwork. Your days do come to an end, and there's an incredible work-life balance. So that is appealing to most, I would think. So it's an exciting part of, working for a company like Aspen Dental. So I have a question here. Does Aspen offer a Botox CE course?
I think I'm not sure.
Anonymous.
I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, the anonymous person could actually answer that, I think, because I don't know the answer to it either.
I think I've read that they do. Yeah, they do offer it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Oh, we got the answer coming in. Look at this. This is teamwork.
Is it?
I believe we do, just not TMD Botox, aesthetic Botox only.
There we go. It's news to me.
How do you know that, Omar? That's amazing. Yeah, so it's, a sign of the future. We're going to be presenting a lot more and new procedures into our offices. I want to speak about patient flow. So on average, each practice sees about 7 new patients each day. So did you talk to your practice owner, Carlos, about, how busy that office is going to be that you're in?
Yeah, and again, that's another awesome thing about the Aspen model that I love. Apart from all the other private practice models, that it's so transparent. So the second you sign with an office, you can ask, and I always bother Maeve about this, but you can ask for their numbers, right? So hey, can I have the last year's numbers? So they, what and it tells you what they've done, what they produced, what's going on with them. And so, you can kind of get an idea of how busy or, how not busy they are. So, but I did speak to Dr. Meg. Yeah, he said that it's a busy office, and we can definitely expect to see a good chunk of patients a day. We didn't get into specifics about the amount of patients per day, but I'm guessing it's probably between the average of about 20 patients around there. So that's
Right.
7 to 8 new patients per day is probably what we're gonna be averaging to.
Right. Yeah. And, our real estate team is really strategic in where we put an office. Obviously, we want it to succeed. So, when Dr. Meck is interested in opening another office, the real estate team goes to work, finds the best location. And, that's how that process works. So,
How
go ahead.
about Chipotle and a Chick-fil-A 2 minutes away from my office? That's pretty
Right. There's usually a Chipotle right around the corner.
So I need.
High traffic area, great visibility. Those of you, maybe have been exposed to our marketing campaigns, a lot of marketing to get patients through the door. We have a dedicated call center in Phoenix, Arizona for all new patient calls. So it's a very organized system in creating the best optimum experience for the patient. And that's what we're focused on, patient care. So we've got a couple more questions coming in.
Shoot.
If there's ever a CE course that you want to take that Aspen doesn't offer, we do have other relationships with CE providers and we get a discounted rate. If there's something that you want to do, this isn't a question, but if there is something that you want to do, you work with your practice owner on achieving that goal. Typically, a practice owner is, promoting you to expand your knowledge, right. Especially if it's bringing a strength into the practice that maybe isn't there. So a lot of opportunity there for CE.
Yeah, and that's also something that Dr. Meg and I spoke about. I asked him about, I said, I love to do some endo. Can I, he said, well, we don't typically focus on molar endo because of the time constraint that comes along with it. But if you're interested in I can set you up with an endodontist, and you guys can do it together. So you have all the options. You can do whatever you want in the office, as long as if you're interested in doing whatever procedure, they'll find a way to get you out there.
Yeah, so we do have specialty that supports all the offices. Endodontists and oral surgeons, typically they are rotating between 4, 6, 8 offices. So they are on a schedule. So if there isn't someone with an endo strength in the office, there is endo available. A lot of times, a practice owner is strong, you know, in specialties, so they kind of take the reins with that. It all depends on the strengths and weaknesses within that team. So I just want to get to, I've got some really great questions coming in. So Carlos, you were not part of our loan repayment program, but we do have opportunities for dentists to work in some of our offices that are in remote areas of the country. We do offer tuition reimbursement, loan repayment. So if any of you are listening, there are opportunities in towns and cities that, probably are not desirable to be in. So for a short period of time, 2-3 years, if you can commit to being there, you can have, a large chunk of change thrown at your student loans. So that's, a great opportunity for someone to kind of knock out their debt. I have some great success stories with that. Recently, we had a doc go to Pikesville, Kentucky, a coal mining town, and she had a 2-year commitment for, a lot of student loan repayment. Of course, she's earning money as well. She said it was the fastest 2 years of her life. And because of the patient base in that coal mining town, her, skills just accelerated at a rapid pace because she was seeing just a lot of, extensive dental cases coming through the door. So any of you that want to consider, working in an area of the country that maybe nobody else wants to go to, that's what's in place for you. So you can talk to myself or I will direct you to Maeve about that. So yeah, more questions flying in. Hold on, let me just, you guys are going nuts. You're in 2 chat boxes.
Hit me.
Nice. Awesome. So do you know, Carlos, what your hours are going to be like when you start off?
Yeah, I think that they're posted on the website online, but it's probably like the usual. It's around with 8 or 7 to 5, I believe, and then Fridays you get a little break. So Friday, I think it's a shorter day. I think it's till 1 o'clock.
Till 1 o'clock.
So I know they're pro for Aspen, letting us enjoy our little Friday night. So
yeah, exciting. So some of our offices are open on Saturdays, maybe every other Saturday. It's all determined by the practice owner, and the practice owner works with their team. They want a happy team. So working with the team, there may be somebody who really wants to come in on Saturdays, a group of people. So, an office may be open on Saturdays. So it's really determined by the owner. The owner is the one that's building their team, mentoring their team, bringing in that culture to keep everybody happy. And at the end of the day, happy people are producing, happy patients. So patient care is utmost. So how many operatories, do you know how many operatories are in the office you're going to work in?
I believe there are 6 or 7. That's what it's around. Yeah, it's around I think it's 7 that we've counted. I have yet to step foot inside the office yet, but I just talking to Dr. Meg, I think it was 7 or 8 that we have. But I think the average is around 9.
Yeah, it's it all depends. There's some have 6 to 8, some have 9. So it does all depend on the size of the office.
But I will say every office that I've been to so far is pristine. Everything is nice and painted. You walk in there, rooms are nice and clean, and everything's it's just everything is well up to date. As opposed to some of the other offices that I visited that were prior practice that were a little bit in the older side. But yeah, so far, Aspen is doing a good job at keeping up to date with the offices.
So you did have a chance to shadow in an Aspen Dental office. Can you tell me about that experience?
Yeah, so that was actually in Florida, in South Florida, in Miami. I spent 2 weeks there, just on and off, back and coming in and out whenever I wanted to. But and that's when I first saw the the whole model kind of play out. So it's, you have the front desk people doing their job, you have the assistants doing their job, you have a lab in-house, which is fantastic. So you have, you don't have to set teeth anymore. You don't have to do these spend 2 hours in mounting dentures and mounting cases. So that it's all in-house, and that just equates to a faster procedure time. So you can deliver the crowns, you can deliver the dentures quicker, and patients love that. So that's when I saw it all play together. And then you have the dog who's bouncing around from room to room, and the assistants and the hygienists over there, and just everything's just kind of functioning in one single unit, and everyone just seemed to be happy. And the patients were coming in. It was just good production, and it was just flowing. And that was when I was first exposed to that.
So when you were shadowing, were you able to, work with the doctor, about, what they were about to do with their treatment planning? Were you engaged in the process?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were, he was walking me through, this is how you find, it was my earlier days in dental school. This is how you find caries, and this is how you detect, to see, this is how you do a patient exam, and this is why we would do the crown instead of a root canal, or whatever the case is. But that was a cool experience. We definitely learned a lot through that time, and I always kept that in the back of my mind. What a good time we had there, and which led me to make a decision now that's where I want to go.
That's awesome. Did you shadow in another DSO or private practice?
So I did shadow a couple of private practices. Everyone has their dentist from back home. They go that you go and hang out with, and maybe they're the ones that inspire you to go to dental school. And so we spent some time with them, and I had some experience with them too. But never. Aspen was the first DSO that I got to experience in a full blown capacity.
Mm-hmm. Did you see a lot of difference between just the energy at Aspen Dental and the energy at, say, the private practice that you shadowed?
See it, and I was just talking to Omar about this. We call it the Aspen vibe. It's just everyone's happy, everyone's in a good mood, everyone's just because it's whatever you like. They don't push you to do anything you're not comfortable with. And I have heard some horror stories that that people they talk about, but that all comes down to you have to find the right owner doc to work with. You have to find the right place and the right mindset and the right person that you're gonna be spending your time with. If you guys, you can't settle for anything less, and it's a very important decision, and you have to. And that's why it's important. If you have any questions, come find me here in school. Come talk to me, and I can help you. I can walk you through the whole process. But it's super important to to find that person that you guys are in the same mindset with. That way you can avoid any problems later on. And so I think that getting back to the question, that's you definitely feel the energy and the difference of just just more. You feel like everyone's in even because again and this is a great segue for what I think is the most important thing that drove me into Aspen in the first place, which was the profit sharing system, right? Why, so it's when I went to shadow some private practices, you have the usual contract. And this is the most important thing, is the usual contract is each dentist, each associate is on their own production level. Right, so you sign with a company and they put you on this 35% production, and that's what you get. And if you don't, some of them give you a daily guaranteed, some of them don't even give you a daily guaranteed. And so you're kind of, you're your own. You either produce or you don't, and that's it. And so what happens is that the older dentists who are in the office end up taking all the good cases, and so the rookies kind of get stuck with the hygiene and the cleanings and the simple operatives and the stuff that will not exceed your production. So with Aspen, that's not the case. With that, the profit sharing model is probably the coolest thing I've seen from any other DSO or any other company, is that as long as the office produces, everyone is getting a chunk of that change, right? So it's and the average is 8 to 10% for the associate dentist. So whatever your clinic produces, you're going to get 8 to 10% depending on patient happiness. That's the way I took it. So make the patient happy, you're going to get some production. So, and it's a teamwork. So if the whole office is doing fine, everyone's doing fine. No one's hogging cases. No one is stressed out about this production. I have to meet my 35% quota. No, it's everyone's sharing cases, and that just makes things smoother and just flow better with the whole process. So that to me was a deal maker when I was looking for where to sign. So
yeah, and I'll kind of elaborate on that. So there is a guaranteed daily rate, like Carlos said, and then profit sharing, which is a rolling 90 days. So if you can imagine, January's caseload cases to February to March, it's going to fluctuate, right? So we take a 90-day snapshot of that, and we also partner in patient satisfaction scores. So everyone in the office is actually on that model. And so you can be assured that the office manager, the hygienist, everyone's on the same model, sharing in that profit sharing at different levels, but patient care is the utmost goal, correct? So you've got happy people working together, and you don't have to worry. If somebody's having a bad day, they're going to swallow it and they're going to put a smile on their face because, it's important to the whole team. So it is an incredible model. And you're right, Carlos. I hear from a lot of people that have started in private practice and they aren't seeing a strong, number of patients each day. So, some of them are telling me they're bored, and they're also not getting the good cases. So it's a little, it's not energizing. It's not going to build your confidence level or your skills.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
it's scary. You're out there on your own. You got to figure it out. You have to meet this production. And so what's cool is that about that model too is that it incentivizes the other doctors that work with you to make sure they get you up to speed, so that way the whole clinic is doing well. So that to me makes perfect sense. And like I mentioned, even the assistants, hygienists, they all get a little share too. So it's if everyone's doing well, the office is thriving, everyone will, and you see that around. You see that when you go shadow an office, or when you talk to these owner docs, and when you talk to people that have worked, that are currently working at Aspen, that have worked for Aspen, you can see that different. And then if you oppose to that someone working at a private practice, you can see their personality and their mood changes. And when you bring up these production numbers, and you can tell right away that it's.
Yeah. And, when you're there face to face at the end of the month, you're going to be able to, have full transparency of what exactly that office is doing. And I know that your owner doctor already has his sights on what you're bringing to the table and how that office is going to grow with you being there, which is exciting. You're excited, Carlos. He's super excited. He's pumped up. So it's exciting. So what would be your word of advice to somebody who's on the fence about, Maeve and I talk to people all the time that, they're thinking about health clinic, they're thinking about residency. What is your advice to people that are on the fence?
Yeah, I mean, my advice is like I mentioned earlier, it's just be honest with yourself, and ask information, ask people that have already done it, that have already doing it now. There's 200 people that graduate from at least from my dental school every single year. A bunch of them end up in Aspen, so you can easily call them and say, hey, what's going on, what's happening, and then you call the other ones that are in private practice, call the ones that are in community health centers, call everyone and start reaching out to them, Facebook or whatever the case is. I mean, I landed my job through Instagram, so it's get out there and start calling and start meeting people and start recruiting, start getting information for yourself. So that way, when the time comes and you're faced with all these different options and all these different contracts, and this practice wants to give you this, and this, the faculty in school wants to offer you this, and that way you can make an informed decision. So when I was earlier on this year, I had no idea about the difference between Aspen and another DSO. until I sat down and said, okay, let's start figuring it out. So you look at the contracts, you look at what they offer, you come to these events, you hear what what we're talking about, and then you can make an informed decision. And I feel that's my biggest advice to everyone is just talk, reach out to me. If you see me here, or find me on Facebook, call me. And I can it's because it's complicated and it's stressful when you're dealing with clinic and you're dealing with, and so you don't know where which way to go. And so before making a bad decision, or a bad move, make sure you are honest with yourself, see where you're at in terms of your clinical experience, your the level of support you need after graduation, and then make a decision. So that was my, I did an externship at a health center, and that was great. And I've seen people in private practice that are doing great, but I've also seen, I've talked to a lot of people that are in Aspen, currently working in Aspen. They say, yeah, you can't match the support that we got here. Right away, you're doing CE courses. Right away, they're holding you by the hand. And if you make a good decision, picking the right person to work with, then you are going to be set for success. So that's my biggest advice for anyone looking to get out there.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. I'm curious to know, like, what's your short-term goal, your first year practicing dentistry? What are some of your goals? Just career, life. What do you see in that first year for yourself and your wife?
Yeah, so we're Laura and I are excited. We're already going through the process of getting pre-qualified for a mortgage. So we are trying to get as close to the beach as possible over there, and we're trying to find a good deal on a house over there. But that's so our personal goal is that just become homeowners in the next year, and then through career wise, I would love to dive into implants. We've that's something that I didn't get here in school. We didn't get enough implant exposure. So that's something that I talked to Dr. Meck about and say, hey, what are your what are your thoughts on implants? Are you placing them? You like them? What's going on? And he said, yeah, that's my, he loves them. So he's great at doing them. So I would love to start placing implants. And then my very short-term goal will be to become the director of the clinic, which is the MCD role, which is, that's probably my what I'm gunning for now. And so, getting in there, working hard, putting your head down, become a sponge and just soak everything you can. And then hopefully in some short amount of time, you can start being the director of the clinic.
Right. So that's in your first year. And I think you're going to get there. So where do you see yourself in 5 years with Aspen Dental? Which is crazy to think about. It's just crazy.
Probably owning 18. I'm just I don't know. It depends. If just talking to you the other day made me realize how easy and how smooth the process is to start thinking about potentially partnering up with your owner doc and opening another clinic or just becoming an MCD and managing a couple of different offices and so many different routes and options that I right now I have no idea where it's heading, but I'm focused on how I can soak up as much information as possible in the next couple of months and just getting the heck out of dental school. That's
that's all I've been hearing lately. Yeah. Everyone's over it. It's been a long ride. It's so exciting that you're, to know that your future is secured and where you're going and you're so excited about it. How do you sleep at night? I mean, come on. This is exciting stuff. I love it. We'll take any more questions out there, folks. Any of you listening that haven't shadowed an Aspen Dental office, I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. You're more than welcome. We have offices that are most likely close to your school. Maybe you're going to be in your hometown. We can facilitate that so that you can have that experience and feel that energy. It's definitely, really life-changing for most because they don't know what to expect. And most of the time someone's shadowing in an office and then they text me when they're all done and they're just like, blowing up my phone. That was so amazing. So it's a good experience, and you should be able to do that anywhere you go. So if it's not Aspen Dental, be sure you're experiencing it before you make that solid commitment. We love to open our door and have you join us in any capacity. And if you're a student and you want to do that, you're a D2, you're a D3, it's never too early. You can shadow an office. So I'll be in touch about that. And Vibe is coming up, really exciting opportunity. It's a morning filled with information about Aspen Dental. And then we do interviewing all afternoon. It's kind of like speed dating. Carlos is talking about Tinder. Our interview process during Vibe is, 30-minute interviews on Zoom. You're invited into a Zoom room and you're able to interview with doctors from around the country. If you have a particular part of the country that you're interested in working in, and we don't have a doctor interviewing at Vibe in that part of the country, we will set you up at in the coming weeks afterwards. So $10,000 signing bonus, which is exciting. Carlos is going to be able to, experience that, which is great. So, a lot of possibility. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We have $100 Amazon gift card going out to somebody. Last time I did this, someone thought that it could possibly be rigged by the special guest. Carlos has no idea in what order people are in this lineup. It's really how you registered. So I need you to pick a number, Carlos, between 1 and 24.
Trying to calculate what time my wife came into the meeting here. Let's go with Kobe Bryant. Let's go with number 8.
Number 8, Serena.
Serena,
you have won the $100 Amazon gift card, and I will connect with you for that after the Ask Me Anything. That's exciting.
There you go.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Well, great. Carlos, you're getting a lot of love in the chat box. Do you have any final words?
Yeah, just guys, reach out to me anytime. Don't be shy. I can, any questions you have, if it's reviewing a contract with you, or ask me anything. Just come, find me on Facebook, find me around school, or call me, whatever the case is. Don't be shy, and just reach out, and hopefully I can provide some good Aspen knowledge today. So thanks for coming out today.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. I hope you guys have a nice, safe night, and I'll see most of you soon. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Carlos.
No problem. See you, Mike.